Did you know if you drop a like and subscribe in the next 5 seconds, nothing will happen but it will put a giant smile on my face? Fortnite Chapter 3 Season 1 is nearly over, with us seeing our final update 19.40 and with us being 79% way through the season's completion. In today's video, as you can see by the title, because of that we're not only going to be going over everything to do with a live event and what we're expecting to see in 19.40, but of course with this being the final update before Chapter 3 Season 2 in itself, this will contain all the intel in the game's coding as to the hints we're going to be seeing about the future upcoming seasons starting on March 19th, which is what we're also going to be covering, and let's just say based off what the event is teased to be already, it's going to be absolutely insane, so make sure you don't go anywhere today, stick around and watch the full video to get all of that intel. And whilst you're sat back relaxing with your favourite snacks, perhaps one favour you can do for me, considering it's 100% free to do, is enter code FM1 inside the Fortnite item shop. By entering code FM1, you're not only going to be putting a giant smile on my face, but also potentially cheering up my pug Gus after discovering and being kind of sad about the fact he looks like a baby Columbo. He also knows that 70% of you watching right now aren't subscribed, and speaking of subscribing, we're getting incredibly close to 2.4 million subscribers, so if everybody hits the big red button right now, we'd be there in no time. And of course don't forget this benefits you too, as I gift different subscribers every single day here on this channel, which of course in the near future will be tons of the Chapter 3 Season 2 Battle Pass, but if you want to receive a gift now or in the future, make sure you're subscribing to the channel with all notifications turned on, and then comment your Epic Games ID down below and let me know what you'd like to receive, so perhaps in the very next video you could be gifted in front of hundreds of thousands of eyes to see. But with that said, now enough messing around, we need to dive into absolutely everything 19.40 and even 20.00 being Chapter 3 Season 2, so make sure of course you don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere.
I'm not, I'm sitting on my
Don't
back.
go anywhere.
Okay, so in terms of 19.40, one of the first things to go over in case you've been living under a rock is the fact that yes, as you can see in the background right now, this crew pack skin, it will no longer be available, with Tracy Trouble replacing Aftermath as of March 1st, 2022. The trailer you're seeing in the background wasn't posted anywhere but Fortnite's Twitter, and speaking of Twitter, make sure to go and follow me, linked in the video description down below, as I give away tons of things over here, drop random codes, and even do V-Buck giveaways. Anyways, in terms of the crew pack for March, not just Tracy Trouble the skin, this is the reward screen that we will see when we log on, obviously once you are an active subscriber of the Fortnite crew pack in March 2022. Of course, as you can see too, I haven't received the 1000 V-Bucks yet, and the reason for this being, despite us receiving 1000 V-Bucks every single month, is because the billing information for me being subscribed to the Fortnite crew hasn't been taken out of my bank account for this month yet. As soon as that happens, the next time I log on after that anyways, I'll be seeing this reward screen, as Fortnite never fail in terms of delivering this. I know there seems to be an urgency with subscribing to each month of the Fortnite crew, considering none of the Fortnite crew cosmetics have ever returned for an upcoming month, and you may be confused as to what I mean there, considering Aftermath has just rotated out. Well, let's just say it could be entirely possible he rotates throughout the Fortnite crew pack again, as Sheena states in this tweet. FYI says it's rotating out for now because all crew packs can come back in the future. Unlike battle passes, these cosmetics can actually return. I just wanted to clarify that again because some people are still asking that in the replies, and the reason for that being is because it's a valid question, because I'm subscribed to the Fortnite crew and have been since it released with this crew pack. So what does that mean if a cosmetic returns or cosmetic set when I'm subscribed again in said month? Are we just going to get more V-Bucks? Are we going to get some different rewards currently unreleased in the game's code and like you're seeing on screen right now? I guess we're yet to find out the first time something does return in terms of an outfit for a Fortnite crew in an upcoming month. But speaking of rewards, or what you may have seen anyways in the unreleased cosmetics section, of course with the release of 19.40, we're soon going to be granted for completely free onto our account when we log in for any random time or reason this flipped loading screen, as you can see in the background right now. The reason for this being is because this is the standard or kind of mandatory loading screen when we click Fortnite to open it for the first time on any platform for Chapter 3 Season 1, and with the season ending soon and going into 20.00 or Chapter 3 Season 2 on March 19th, considering Epic Games have literally been doing this since Chapter 2 Season 2, as you can see in this reward screen, and with the flip loading screen being in the files, it's safe to say more than likely we should be receiving this any day now. You may have also noticed some other loading screens or smaller cosmetic items that don't rotate throughout the item shop and are only free rewards in the game's unreleased section. One specifically that caught my eye anyway was this one, as you can see right here, which was originally just artwork in this tweet for Epic Games trying to say if anybody tries to eliminate the Clombos, they'll eliminate the entirety of Tilted, which now yes is a loading screen in the files of Cuddle Team Leader trying to pet a Clombo. Of course, loading screens and sprays and stickers characters, and smaller things again don't rotate throughout the item shop, but this doesn't also mean in terms of these being free rewards, we know how exactly we're going to be getting them. Perhaps this could be a midway through the month reward for being still concurrently subscribed to the March crew pack. Epic Games usually like to do this to keep us subscribed or test our loyalty by giving us banners, gliders, you name it, perhaps even this loading screen. And whilst we're on the subject of Clombos, considering the internet literally broke over the concept of baby Clombos, which actually started as a trend, with this particular trailer being published to my YouTube channel which got 5 million views. Despite baby Clombos not being added into the game in 19.40 that we can see around the island, I actually tasked a data miner called PQ over on Twitter to put them into the game early or see how quickly he could do so, and as you can see what he managed to pull onto a private server early, this literally took him 10 minutes. I know the baby Clombos right here aren't exactly as small as you thought they would be, like in a pet form such as a back bling, which again we may be receiving in the Chapter 3 Season 2 Battle Pass, as Epic Games know we really want this. As you can see from being shot into the air from obviously going onto its head like we would originally on a Clombo, they're a lot smaller. Again, I really do hope they add baby Clombos in some way, shape or form, but speaking of things that have been added that not many people are talking about actually, is this particular collaboration trailer or collaboration overall that you're seeing in the background. As you can see, Sheena tweeted out the following: at the end of the Universal Monsters mini-series that just aired in Fortnite, we can see the monsters finding a way onto the island. I expect that we'll get more outfits from the series than the ones we already have, and as you can see from the trailer, yeah, he's not wrong. We literally see these Universal Monsters characters make their way through a portal, so it seems, onto the Fortnite island for Chapter 3. Of course, Fortnite never failed to amaze us in terms of the new collaborations not only added, but the ones that we currently know of or partnerships established between companies being currently continued, such as not only Rogue and Gambit that we've recently seen added into the item shop, with some short trailers that they published over on their official verified Twitter, and despite again these being Marvel cosmetics, believe me when I say this is where the video gets very interesting in terms of potentially next season being a Marvel x Fortnite based one like we saw in Chapter 2 Season 4. Of course too, this will be integrated into the lore, meaning potentially affecting this season's live event to end it off if we are going to be seeing one, with the recent developments obviously being the sinkholes that, as you can see, we showed at the start of the video in terms of a map change or development. Quickly before we do hop onto the Marvel stuff though, the reason this is happening or these sinkholes are appearing is because these earthquakes, for those that don't know, are appearing as extreme weather conditions despite just the tornadoes and the lightning that we've been seeing throughout the season overall. Of course, like the extreme weather conditions of the tornadoes and lightning, again they happen or vary from game to game, not having any permanent effect on the island overall, but some of these earthquakes, believe it or not, do. As you can see, there's a direct route here for where these earthquakes are most likely going to be going, and as you can see, it seems to be surrounding the Tilted Towers name location, meaning this could be gone next season or even be destroyed during the live event, as Epic Games could be foreshadowing. And with this being the only thing left to show, being the new FNCS skin for Chapter 3 Season 1 before it ends anyways, that was again another official asset published on Twitter, let's now move on to everything we know about the live event, ultimately how it's going to be ending off this season and making sense of a Marvel collab for the next. To start out with, to rewind the clock very briefly for a quick recap anyways, of course you guys will know from the end event cinematic or Chapter 2 finale that the Imagined Order and the Seven are still two opposing factions at war against each other. More so now as the island has flipped over and we've been revealed to not only the Seven's base with the Mighty Monument, clearly establishing this in terms of the area that the Seven are mining or kind of working on things on with the rockets frequently launching, but now Covert Cavern with Gunner manning this as a mythic boss, and the IO setting up several drill sites around the map to disrupt or look for something that we're going to be revealing very soon that could give either faction the edge in terms of overthrowing the other. The season quest voice recordings from the scientists show us the side of, well, what's going on with the Seven despite them trying to get Paradigm to come back to the island, which we believe the reason for that to be to build another robot like the one she manned but in another snapshot form as the Singularity in the original Final Showdown, and we're going to be mentioning more about that in just a second, but let's not disregard the voice recording that also went over the IO sabotaging one of the rocket launches that the Seven actually tested. And speaking of the IO, you may be wondering, well, what are they drilling for with all these sites around the map and not only Covert Cavern, but with the remains of the original Devourer monster with the hole in its skull that we know to resemble the first one anyways, with the sword through its head? Does this mean they're trying to find more creatures of its kind, considering in the game's files there's currently roars for another one, or implying that there's another one underneath the earth? And with the original mecha team leaders arming the outskirt ocean, does this again foreshadow that the Seven are trying to make another giant robot, welcoming back Paradigm to do so potentially at the Daily Bugle location, which could be reverted into a pressure plant like location? Well, the answer to that now in terms of this season happening is kinda cloudy in terms of our clarity on the scenario. The reason for this being is all due to the fact that this comic book has been announced, or officially revealed anyways, that people have been going crazy on Twitter about, being the Fortnite x Marvel 01 War comic book issue, the first one anyways. Cover artwork revealed of 5 comic books written by Christos Gage and also Donald Mustard, which as you can see according to FireMonkey 2 will be on sale in June 2022. First off, what's interesting about the cover artwork in itself is the fact that Agent John Jones seems to be now half taking off his jumpsuit that we saw in the end event cutscene, and has teamed up with this character, which is one of the members of the 7 that we currently don't know of, particularly one of the sisters called Shuri. And again, we know it's one of the members of the 7, or the sisters anyways, with this kind of confirming this, as we've seen her in another alike skin kind of identical but not exactly the same anyways in these Fortnite surveys, and also our first look at the last member of the 7 that we currently haven't seen, being the Origin, the mask on and off style. With this comic book issue, the first one releasing anyways in June 2022, it's looking like this very well could be in the duration or lifespan of Chapter 3 Season 2. The reason for that being is because if this starts March 19th and it goes on for 100 days, which is typically the length of a season nowadays in Chapter 3 overall, this would then mean that the ending of this season would land well at the end of the month June itself. And furthermore, interestingly, that points toward even a live event not happening at the end of this season, considering the developments or kind of build-up has been very slim or minimal in terms of the map changes that have happened, is this description that FireMonkey tweeted out right here, as you can see, is the plot line for, well, what seems to be currently going on in next season, a war between the Imagined Order and the 7, meaning neither has wiped the opposing faction out, implying that a battle of the Final Showdown scale hasn't happened again. As you can see, it states the following: it follows the inhabitants on the island who are locked in what seems to be a never-ending war, and only one thing has the potential to turn the tide, a crystallized fragment of the 0 point that was cast into the Marvel Universe. Spider-Man and Wolverine team up with Shuri and several fan favourites from Fortnite to hunt down the elusive Zero Shard. Will these allies be able to find it in time and avert catastrophe? And can the heroes of the Marvel and Fortnite's realities hold off the Imagined Order long enough to give them a fighting chance? Meaning not only are the 7 behind in terms of the war waged between the Imagined Order and the 7, but also again with this releasing in June implies yes, it's still ongoing in June, meaning perhaps the live event developments or build-up that we're currently seeing could be for next season. Of course, before then though, something definite we know we're going to be seeing is a brand new cinematic trailer for the story or progression anyways, making sense of Chapter 3 Season 2 launching. So in terms of what this includes, I guess we're yet to know. Maybe we see some small build-up map changes on the island until the end of the season for then this to occur, like we saw in Chapter 2 Season 5 with the 0 point destabilizing, then finally setting up or developed off of in the Chapter 2 Season 6 cinematic trailer. Of course, right now it's more vital than ever you're subscribing to the channel with all notifications on so that you don't miss any future uploads regarding more intel that's going to be dropped instantly or leaked in the community. Speaking of dropping, don't forget to drop a like on this video too if you enjoyed it. I want to keep referring back to any of the information. And speaking of your next destination now or other videos, make sure to interact with anything on screen, I don't mind. But most importantly, you guys, hopefully I can catch you. Yes, you the individual still watching, I can see you. But hopefully in that very next video I do post on the channel.